Hello. All right, it's up and official. Good
morning. Good morning. That's all I
We
know.
talked the whole night through. Good morning.
Good morning to you and you and you.
and you. Whoa,
that
that's
was
pretty good.
Is that Alice in Wonderland?
Oh my God,
I don't
it's
know.
Singing in the Rain.
Oh, that's right. I'm the worst.
All right, I'm gonna grab my coffee.
You got it.
Good morning, everybody. Hello. Oh my God, I'm so happy you guys can make it.
Yeah.
Welcome to the live Good Morning Show or Live Good Morning Show, depending on how you see it.
Right. Thanks for dealing with our crazy schedules lately, guys.
Yeah, we have a doctor's appointment this morning at 12:30. So, and it's an online thing. So we were like, and that was the only time we could get in with this doctor. So we were like, oh, we got to get in there. We got to do this. But we also couldn't not do the morning show. We look so forward to this and to seeing you guys. So hello. Say hello in the chat if you're here, so we know who's here. Y'all,
we had a pretty good day on
We had
Sunday.
a pretty crazy day on Sunday.
I don't know if you saw the photos in the story, but I should make a post of them.
Oh, you got to
can
post
see
them. Come on now.
Oh my gosh.
It was Missy's birthday.
It was the best.
It was her 14th birthday.
14, you guys. I mean, my heart was so full. We just feel so grateful.
Oh yeah, hold on. Let me grab the cupcakes.
Oh yeah.
We still have, these are Missy's cupcakes. Let me see. Gotta hide our faces.
Right. Oh.
That's her little cupcake tray.
We had to do two different colors to make sure that the photo shoot, came out
the color
well.
scheme works out.
Right. But we had a great time on the boat. Oh my
Maya
gosh.
going crazy back there. Y'all,
Maya.
I have never seen Maya smile that much. I don't think ever.
No.
Especially not on a boat. She's suddenly adventurous and feeling herself.
I think they just got all grown up, our little girls. Because they used to get a little nervous. But
a lot nervous. But no. I mean, and it got kind of, they're this representation of what's happened over the last decade of our relationship. You know what I mean? Like, they're this kind of, watching them grow has been this kind of embodiment of us. We were, feeling ourselves when we were little babies. And then we went through this period of total nervousness and total, unfortunately, somehow weirdly scared of everything. Because when I met you, you were scared of nothing. And I don't think I was scared of anything.
No. And then I think as you grow, you're like, wait, this could happen.
Yeah.
But now they're full grown girls.
And they don't give a fuck. Maya sat in that captain's chair the whole time that she wasn't being the masthead of the boat. Like, she was literally on the front like Titanic. She was like, Dad, check it out.
She did keep going.
I was like, what are you doing?
My voice is on.
We were up pretty late, so I apologize if you hear either one of us go. I mean, my voice is already 3 octaves lower than it usually is. I'm doing my Bradley Cooper Stars voice, just talking all day the whole day.
But this is good, and you guys, thanks again. I mean, definitely we'll have our Thursday podcast up, because we're visiting family right now. The shoot wrapped, so we're just slowly making our way.
I do not know why. I'm so sorry. The chat, I think I messed something up, and it's not.
The chat disappeared.
It's literally gone. So I apologize if you're commenting and we can't see it. We will comment back later in the comments section.
Hopefully we
can do that. I don't know. We're as technologically advanced as ever here at Part of Love. So this is going to be hard though, because we don't have your questions. But I did want to talk about something, and I put this in the title, and I don't know if you guys saw this. I put in what I wanted to talk about today. Is breaking the chain, breaking chains in your life, in your relationships, those things. And it's, probably going to be a shorter episode, but this will be, let's call this, part 1 of, and
we could do maybe a more podcast style of this, because I feel like there's a lot to talk about.
There's a lot to talk about, but accepting that the things that have happened, generationally in your life, the things that have happened in your community, in your life, or in your friends on a smaller scale, in your personal habits, breaking those chains. And it's funny because when we had a talk on the refinery the other day, and I felt like something kind of came up a couple of times where there's usually a question in the refinery of, well, how do we do this? And that's the goal of this show that we do on Fridays on this channel, if you're new here, called The Refinery. And we're trying to refine who we are, sharpen our skills as people, to move forward. And specifically as men, it's men talking about the things that are affecting us and how to be better men, essentially, more refined men. And it was just this thought of, at a certain point, you have to Nike it. You have to just fucking do it. If you want to change, you can wait until somebody teaches you exactly how to do it. You can hope that somebody else will break the chain in your family for you, or you can just do it yourself. You know, in your friendships, if you have friends that are dragging you down, you just have to make that hard choice and boogie and do your own thing. And I just kind of wanted to delve into that a little bit today. It seems like a necessary and topical thing. It keeps coming up in all the chats in some form or fashion.
Well, I like one of the refinery talks you said, I was always waiting to find that man or that person that would, but for you wanted that like male strong figure in your life. And you're like, I just kept waiting for it and looking for it and praying that's, someone would fulfill that for me. And at a certain point, the full circle. And at a certain point, you're like, I'm gonna fucking do it. Yeah.
Well, here's this thing that I find really interesting. And please, in the comments below, I'm so sorry. I think I disabled the comments for this on accident just now.
This is a perfect representation of us, though.
I'm so sorry, you guys.
How to work this.
That said, if you could please leave the comments that are in response to this, or your thoughts about whatever we're talking about, leave them in the comments section below, and we'll respond, and we can talk about this next time when I don't fuck up the comments section. The thing is, it literally took that. It took, we look outwardly for these, and a lot of times it's celebrities. You find a celebrity. I know I still am guilty of this from time to time. You see somebody, and I'm not anymore, I wouldn't say, but within the last, few years was when I kind of broke that cycle of looking outward for, okay, who is this philosopher? Who is this celebrity? Who is this public figure who has been successful that I can emulate, and even and my point is that is never going to be the thing that makes you as successful as you want to be. And I watched a Hollywood Reporter roundtable the other day, and they were talking to these very, very well-known actors and actresses, Octavia Spencer, Robert Pattinson, Margot Robbie, Diane Kruger, and Bryan Cranston.
Man, that's the group.
It was a crazy group. And one of the first questions was, is there anybody whose career you would love to have? And I thought, what an interesting thing to ask this group of people. And they all were very respectful in their answers. And I understand what the concept of that question is. But I know for me, when I was younger or more mature, which was even yesterday, I took that to heart in a different way. I thought, wait, who? Because I remember the first time somebody asked me that, I said, Hugh Jackman. Hugh Jackman. He did musicals. He was Wolverine. He is so many different things. He's a great actor, like movies like Prisoners. He's The Greatest Showman. He's been on stage. He's, you know what I mean? I was like, oh yeah, that. And so then I started looking to Hugh Jackman all the time. I was like, well, what does Hugh Jackman think about this? Right. What does Hugh Jackman think? And you find out that no matter who that person is, they're not living your life. And you can't, and then we do the compare and contrast thing, and you're running someone else's race.
Well, you're basing it off of too, like you were drawn to them for a career thing. Like we'll never really know them. And so really it's the people that you know in your life that you're looking towards to like fulfill this. It's easy to do that with celebrities because we don't actually know. Yeah. We don't know them what at all. But I love that. And I feel like to an extent, I don't think I ever decided that. But at a certain point, I was like, no, this is who I want to be. I'm still trying to become that person. And what's funny is the older you get or the clearer forward thinking you get, the goal just the bar keeps raising, but that's a good thing. So I'm always working towards being that person, woman that I dreamed to also find and look up to.
But it's exciting to check those boxes. Like, do y'all feel like this? I love that when we started working towards our true selves, I started being able to check certain boxes. And I talk about this with regards to our relationship. If you're just checking in, or you're popping in or out, or you haven't seen this, before, this is a channel devoted to relationships and to helping you find the love you deserve, dating or otherwise, or just finding it in yourself. All of that is a part of this channel. And I think that what's so interesting is that we take these little moments when someone talks about us and they're like, well, how did you get to where you are? And I'm like, okay, well, first off, when I met her, I had certain qualities, and then I had to get rid of some of the worst of those qualities, uncover some other things, figure out how to deal with those. Then I had to check the box of getting back to myself, my true self. Then I had to check the box of, like, it took us years to get to our true selves as a relationship and to our true selves as individuals. Then it took us a couple more years to get totally financially stable in a way that made us comfortable to do and live how we wanted.
Right.
And now we're focusing on like career stuff and like these other things. And it's just such an interesting thing. People are like, well, you've been in a relationship for 10 years. Like, you guys have it figured out. And you're like, no, the fuck, we don't.
We just began.
We just got started, but we're figuring out specific individual things that we look at and we chase down and we focus on.
Yes.
And the most important of those was each other.
Yes. We decided that for us, that is, and I think finding yourself should always be first and foremost, like the most important thing, just whether you're in a relationship or not. But I think the interesting thing, the beautiful thing about us is that we put that first, like we put each other first always. And a lot of times, like, people will put their careers first, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. Like, I feel like we could have been much further along in our careers had we done that.
We'd have just been single. We're separate.
Yeah, or we probably wouldn't have made it through together.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
careers absolutely could have totally blossomed in a different way.
And there were so many opportunities, totally, but we wouldn't have made it. And I'm grateful for every choice that we made in that way. Because, like, man, it's hard to grow with somebody, especially like when you're really forming, like those formative 20s, 30s.
I think you also, though, learn so much about, like, let's take yesterday, for example. I'm sorry, I'm gonna fan kick up over. Oh God, no, I'm coming over you. Oh God, it doesn't go that high.
You guys are balancing on this, like,
we're literally just on a weeble wobble table.
We're like, okay, hold me.
So anyway, we're talking about love. So what you just said is kind of struck something. Oh, nice. Hi, everybody. So, excuse me. Excuse me.
Yeah.
I'm sorry about that. So you were saying that when you the goal of finding yourself, that should be our first goal, to know ourselves truly, not who we want to be. I mean, we should know who we want to be. But finding who you are right now and acknowledging that, plus acknowledging where you want to go, gives you a path, right? Last night we had a pretty big argument, and so sorry, Maya there. Thank you, baby. Come say hi to everybody. Up.
Can you jump? Oh, now there's three of us on this little level.
This thing is going to break. All right, so we had a pretty big argument last night, and at the very kind of crux of it, at the tipping point, as it were, I was sitting in the car and I was thinking, you know what? I have to decide if I am willing to continue arguing. Am I willing to do this, to try and make this point, to try and get us to figure this out right now? Or would I want to, in this moment, accept that I know who I am, I know who she is, I know that this is a misunderstanding that neither one of us can figure out how to get to each other on.
Right.
And I just went silent in a useful way. It was both of us were just at our tipping point.
We just took a
second. And we just took a second to be like, quiet. And we went about our thing completely cordial, not talking about it, not ignoring it. And then a couple hours later, we came back together and figured it out and got to talk about it more in depth this morning. And I love that. I appreciate that there was a moment that because I stopped trying to talk to you and took a second to talk to myself, I just went, okay, what can I really do here? What's really happening? What is my ego? How can I put my ego aside and just sit here and go, what the fuck is actually happening? Not be right. What's actually happening?
Yeah. I think though it's that, and we've become better and better about taking that time. I think when it sort of starts to become like irrational, there's always that point on your foot and you're like, how did we get here? Does it matter?
Yeah. Is it this important? Whatever we're arguing about?
And then I think what we do is usually just go about what we would do and what brings us closer. So we were like, okay, well, let's go get some Taco Bell. And
we to be fair, we already had to get some kind of food while we were out. So it's not like we left after an argument. We're like, food will fix the problem.
No. Like, we were like, whatever your tradition is. Like, so we were like, okay, Taco Bell. Let's like sit on the hotel bed, watch a cute little movie, and just like let our brains and hearts settle for a second.
And we took care of the girls, came in, made their food, and we did our usual teamwork things that we do. Yeah. And I know for me, it definitely resettled my brain into I'm nowhere near as mad about whatever I think I'm mad about.
Right.
And I saw you doing the same thing, and then you can't see it very well, but I have a sty in this eye, which is fucking gross.
It's really not, but I've never seen a sty before, and it's kind of fascinating.
Yeah, it's a pimple on my eye. It's so fucking weird. But I was thank you very much. You too. I can only see you after my good eye. You're wicked hot on the left. I'll tell you what. And it was just a nice moment of going, okay, I know me, I know she knows her, and that's how we got back to each other. Was sometimes, I think a lot of times it's kind of pushed that we should be able to, if you're really right for each other, you should be able to figure everything out immediately. And I think it's important, and we talk about this a lot. A couple, any good relationship is two different people. Mm-hmm. A successful relationship is two different, separate successful people as far as knowing and loving themselves, who continually choose to also love each other. And it sounds so romantic to say, man, you're everything, and without you, none of it matters. And I care about you more than I care about myself, and I care about the relationship more than, like, I don't exist anymore. It's just us, and all those things are important. Kind of
romantic, yeah, but
it sounds great. But eventually you find yourself in a place of those things are true. I love my wife more than anything in this world, and if you have been on this channel for more than 2 minutes, you know that. Right? That does not mean that I don't annoy the shit out of her, and vice versa. That does not mean that everything is, squirrely twirly gumdrops. I don't think that's the swirly. I want to try not swirly. You don't want to try a squirrely twirly gumdrop.
God knows Another time.
Poop jokes. We never get away with not having poop jokes on here.
We'll tell you
eye pimples and poop jokes and come on. Either way, this kind of, for me, it goes back to breaking the chain of, there are certain things in my family's lineage on the male side of things that I am very proud to know that I have broken. And by knowing myself in those moments, we don't have to fight for, days or even however long. There's no, there's nothing but me in that moment, and knowing and trusting that you are doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And that's what makes our relationship strong.
Well, what was cool is, like, we don't we haven't had a fight like that in, I don't even remember, like years. Yeah. And we always, back to our first video, fighting is good, because fighting means
so necessary.
And fighting well. Like, we just explained how our fight went down, so I promise you I didn't take that heel off and like like I wasn't throwing things, but
throwing words.
we really didn't.
We actually did.
We were just upset about we were just not on the same page. It really had nothing to do with us or anything.
Ironically.
So, but we, what I feel like when we woke up this morning and we were like, I love you. We grew like exponentially overnight. And that was something that happened. And like, we're always growing. We're always realizing together. But that was another thing, like another chain broken, another growth spurt, another
acknowledgement.
Yeah. And it was like, though I feel exhausted, and didn't help that the movie we ended up watching was Onward.
Have you guys seen Onward?
You guys like
Disney Pixar? Oh my God.
Cried.
Oh my God.
Like, I did not expect to cry, because the preview, I wasn't prepared for what this movie's about. It's beautiful. Either way, so I feel so drained, but so happy, and my heart is very full.
Maya stripped that whole ball.
Did she really?
I'm sorry.
We go through tennis balls in this house, like by the bucket.
Yeah.
I don't know. So I'm grateful for that. You know, there's nothing to be. No. I'm just saying, there's nothing to be scared about, like fighting, as long as you're paying attention and when you know better, you do better, kind of thing. Like,
it's accepting the natural kind of. There's a natural part of all of this that, had we woken up in both of us, and this is a very important little thing. This is a caveat, as it were, asterisk to put on here. If you're fighting, and then you wake up, you take some time, and you're like, I'm going to do me, you're going to do you, I trust that we'll come back together, and you come back together, and you're like, well, fuck yeah, and then you go away, and you're still mad, and then they come back, and they're mad, and now there's
also there is a thing, like, it's not just like you go apart and then it gets better. Like, we went apart, and before we started the movie, we talked more about it, and then after the movie, we talked more about it. And then in the middle of the night, we woke up at like 3 a.m. and talked more about it. And then you're like, I love you. That, it's just a growth spurt.
Yeah. I think it's a scary thing, though. We look at fighting the same way that we look at all of these growth spurts, personally and in a relationship. We look at we talked to one of our very good friends, and I would say first client from Part of Love, about the fact that when we put that fighting video up, he was like, I've always been so scared, because if I fight with somebody, to me, that means we're not supposed to be together. We're not right. Mm-hmm. And knowing that fighting is okay, having that permission from you guys, knowing that you fight, and that, you've been together for 10 years, and Jesus, what was it, last week, or was that this week, when someone at the grocery store, where was it, that was like, are y'all, how long y'all been engaged, how long y'all been dating?
When we were giving blood, and I was 7 years.
Been married 7. Oh yeah, because they said, are you newlyweds?
Newlyweds. And I was like, no, we've been married for 7 years. And she was like, whoa, how long have you been together? And I was like, 10 years, and over 10 years. And she was like, whoa, that's how you guys act?
Because we were like flirting in the chairs, and they were like, stop moving your bags. We were like,
But it takes a lot of work to anything good takes a lot of work.
Yes. And the thing is, though, you have to, I hate reducing things down to little cute sayings, but you do have to get comfortable being uncomfortable to a degree, and in very specific situations. I had to have a discomfort of knowing that we were not going to solve this problem right away, whatever it was. I had to be comfortable in that discomfort. I had to accept that, and you did too. I had to accept that whole thing about don't go to sleep angry it doesn't even make sense. There's so many, again, we're reducing everything. It's this like, well, let's reduce everything down into something that we can just
this tangible bite size, like
Instagrammable fucking quotes so that everybody can look at it and go, ooh, I understand that. Right. But do you? The thing is, we have gone to sleep angry. So that rule that's not about that. I've gone to sleep upset and also woken up halfway through the night and been like, hey, I can't sleep, but I fucking love you so much. And I don't want to talk to you, but I love you so, oh God. And sometimes that's how it goes. The point is that discomfort is so, so important because that will push your growth one way or the other. And I think so much of us want homeostasis. We want the status quo. We want just content and chill, and that's it. And like, I don't want you to push me, and I won't push you, and we'll pretend that we're both strong people, and that's the thing. But strength comes in being able to be in those uncomfortable positions and then grow from there. It comes from, bless you.
Oh, thank you.
Isn't that the cutest sneeze?
Excuse me.
But it comes from those things. I mean, how many times has any skill, like love is a skill. Loving well is a skill. It is learnable, and it is something that has to be practiced. It has to be learned. It has to be respected. And, you know, why is it everybody loves Kobe, the Kobe quote. And I love this Kobe quote about not quote, but, you know, concept of 10,000 hours, right? And I don't think it's just Kobe, but I think it kind of got repopularized on Instagram recently because of Kobe. But the 10,000 hours thing. We will spend 10,000 hours to be the best basketball player or the best skateboarder or the best whatever, and we won't spend a fucking 10 minutes on our relationship. Like, and then, but we expect that relationships are the things, love. We're supposed to just have love. This incredibly intricate, very hard thing where you as a human being with autonomy are now going to spend the rest of your life in a room or whatever of love with some other person that is not you. And we try to make it this thing where you're like, well, we're married. If you've been married for as long as we have, you know, you just know each other inside and out.
God.
As if, yes, I know a lot about you, but I sure didn't know how the fuck you were going to react last night. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
And that's never going to be, you're never going to know everything. That's the goal. If you know everything about the person that you're with.
That's the sexy thing though about it too. That's what keeps you together is that you don't know everything. And if you do your job as you, with your own autonomy and you're like, I'm growing, you're always going to have a secret or something to discover.
Something new to share, something new to bring to the relationship. Yeah. And that is why, didn't mean to. I'm going to have to change the title of this one because here we go. I wanted to talk about this earlier, and then you just reminded me. It's about time. It's always about time, whether it's time spent together or time spent apart. In our argument, without our time by ourselves, our alone time, we could not have grown enough in that moment to come back together, to grow together. It's just such a microcosmic, easy version of it to see. Yeah. Time is so important, and that means on a larger scale, taking time away from each other, taking time to go build skills. Like, I know that there are days where I will wake up and she will have left a note on the fridge and she's like, I'm out for a little bit, and she's just gone. And I miss her and I think about her, and as long as I know she's safe, that's cool. But then I do my shit here and we come back and she gets to tell me, or not, all the shit that she did that day. And it's just this cool thing where all day you may have just, and I did this, last week, I took my book and I went because I wanted to, I was like, hey, I'm going to go get an oil change. I left the car there. I walked to a Starbucks and I sat down outside and I read my book in peace and quiet. And I took my notes and I did some studying, and I just sat there and thought about it and thought about a million other things. And then I came back, got the car. Then I sat in the car for a little bit longer, read another chapter, and came home. And it was this nice little moment of, this is my time. This is something that I have to get done, doing the oil change, but I made sure to take that time. And you were like, well, do you want me to come too and we can hang out? And I was like, no, I love you.
Yeah.
But no, I actually really want to read this book. And this is the only time I'm going to be able to find right now for that. And I see nothing wrong with that. I see everything right with that. Because then I got to come home and be like, okay, I had so many thoughts. And I want to talk to you about these. And we've been talking about them for the week since then.
Right. And that always happens though with us, whenever it's like, sorry, I'm doing this strange.
No, I love it. It's sexy. It's sexy.
Whenever we take time apart, it's like, it just spurs ideas when you're on your own. And again, though, that's training yourself to make the most of your time when you're alone. And like, you don't always have to sometimes I get brilliant ideas walking around Home Goods buying candles. Like it doesn't have to be crazy, but whether it's dreams or a thought or whatever, I come home to you. What were we gonna say?
I was gonna say, or a TV show, or Walking Maya, or
whatever it is. You're constantly inspired, right? Allow yourself to be open enough to be constantly inspired, and then you get to go home to your person and share that, and it's like boom, your whole world opened up, and like I don't know.
And then then you get excited about certain ideas, and then there's other ideas that will happen in that time. I come home and I'm like, hey, this happened, and you're like, me. And then I'm like, well, hold on. So this is what I see in this, and you're like, okay, but I understand that, and that's amazing. But also, what about this? I'm like, oh, I didn't really think about that. You know what I mean? And
we're there to bounce. We're there to
I love the idea of taking time apart, taking time in your relationships to bring something back, to be fucking useful. Like, don't just exist for comfort and like.
Well, I don't know about you, but I think we should do a quick recap, just like a quick, because we just talked about 3 different.
Oh my God, I know. Things. I'm so sorry.
No, and actually, I mean, we have to go soon anyway. So I think we started off with breaking the chains of.
Which I still think ties into the fact that.
Yeah, totally. And I think maybe we should, these are, in my opinion, like either 3 different Tuesday morning topics or 3 different like podcasts maybe situations. We'll do breaking the chain, I love that because we could go on forever. And then that led into fighting. Oh gosh, you guys, let's do more about fighting because we haven't done fighting in a minute. And I love it because we just had a fucking large fight last night. So it's very fresh.
Fresh in the memories.
And I feel so though like full and loved right now. So it's great. And then having your own autonomy and like
taking time. Maybe it is calling it self-autonomy. Maybe personal time has gotten kind of a bad rap. Maybe the understanding of what this is, what we're pushing, what we're saying is more about self-autonomy, knowing yourself, acknowledging who that is, and knowing that you cannot be of any fucking worth to a relationship if you don't have anything to bring to it.
You gotta do you.
You gotta take care of you. And you know what? Fuck this gotta shit. Like, you deserve. That's the love you deserve. Here's the secret. That's at the end of the part of love tunnel. The love you deserve is yours. You deserve to wake up in the morning and look at yourself and fucking love that. And not love what you see, whatever. Like, we all have work to do and blah, blah, blah. I'm talking about fuck a mirror. Lay in bed and you wake up and you go, hell yeah, I'm fucking great. And not pretentious putting something on. I have work to do and I can do it.
I'm excited to do that work. I love this journey I'm on.
Yeah. And sometimes I'm so sorry. Also, sometimes that work, that time, we were just talking about taking that time to yourself. Just so you know, sometimes what I do is I put my headphones in and I go sit in the corner. I mean, this is a hotel room, but I go sit in the corner and I fucking watch Netflix and do nothing. And every once in a while I'll come home from like a day of being out and you'll go, I did fucking fuck all. I did nothing today. I have been a lazy asshole. I done nothing. I'm so sorry. And I'm like, well, you fucking care. I don't care. Yeah. That's awesome. Good for you. Do you feel better? I do.
Yeah.
And I
still fight like seriously. And you guys, it's I mean, do I love myself? Yes. Would I want to trade places with anybody? No. Am I excited for the work to do? Yes. But I still fight with myself with that guilt. Like, Angelina, you need to do 1,000 things today that make you feel like I have that like guilt I put on myself about like being so productive.
Mm-hmm.
And when it's so good on days like that, when you remind me like, do you feel good? Yeah. And I'm like, but all I did was walk around 3 different Home Goods. I bought 4 candles. I stopped and got a fillet of fish, and like, and he was like, "But you feel good." And I'm like,
but do you feel good? Do you feel like you took
Yeah.
care of yourself?
Yeah.
Do you
I
feel
sang
like
in
you
the car.
do you feel like you loved yourself today?
Hell yeah.
There it is. So whether it's breaking the chains, fighting, or taking time to yourself, we want you to find the love you deserve. We want to help you get there. And this has been fucking one of my favorite surprise little episodes. I apologize we have to go because the doctor's appointment starts very soon.
I also apologize when we don't know how to get the
I
comments
apologize
back,
if you have been commenting in the like little side comments. So sorry. Hopefully there's a ton of comments below, and if
Right.
there's none, fuck it, whatever. We love you guys. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for all the likes. Maybe it's because we don't have the comments on. You guys have been liking like crazy. We appreciate that so much. Thanks for staying here. Thanks for hanging out with us. We love you, and we will see you Thursday. We'll be putting out, our next podcast episode, and then
Sunday,
Friday
we'll
we
see
have
you.
the refinery.
Oh, Refinery Friday.
Which I'm very excited about. And then Sunday, we will see you for a game night. I'm pretty excited. It's going to be a good one. All right. Love y'all. Talk to you later. Dance out music.
Oh.
Oh, yeah. Got this out. I can't believe it's happening.